Alex Albon and Williams have been experiencing something of a renaissance this season. Not since 2017, when Felippe, Massa and Stroll drove in the Williams cars, have the team looked like they could genuinely score points on a regular basis. There is one part that hasn't been working though, and that is the rookie driver Logan Sargeant. He is the only driver on the grid without a confirmed contract for 2024, and today we're going to look at whether he deserves to stay. And if he doesn't, who will be replacing him? Let's get started. First off, I want to say that every time I remember that Felippe Massa and Stroll drove on the same team, and that Massa only outscored Stroll by 3 points, my mind is blown. But anyway, this video is about Williams now, not in 2017. First off, we need to talk about Alex Albon, who is a driver reborn at Williams. When George Russell was on his way out of Williams, Albon approached the then CEO Jos Capito with a couple of things, a CV and an Excel spreadsheet, comparing his superior lap times to his rivals. Suitably impressed by both his determination and statistics, a deal was agreed. After all, getting a Formula 1 seat is a competition in and of itself, and if you can use a couple of flashy graphs to help you, then why not give it a go? Albon has carved out 21 points in the first 16 races of this season, at a team who managed only 39 points from 2018 to 2022. If you exclude the Belgian Grand Prix in 2021, which you should, it is 29 points. That 5-year period, they were bottom of the pile, the wooden spoon holders in 4 of those 5 years. At the Italian Grand Prix, Albon had his best performance yet for Williams, more impressive than an identical result in Montreal in June. An excellent display of precision driving got him 6th on Saturday. Then the dogged defensive work lap after lap on Sunday, even with his tyres dropping off in the final stages in Monza, was a joy to watch. Though the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Red Bull of Sergio Perez had too much pace, Albon had the McLarens on his gearbox for most of the afternoon. But using exquisite car placement and outstanding race skills, that's exactly where Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri stayed. It isn't just Alex that is helping the team rebuild though. James Vowles needs to take as much credit as he is given. His influence on this team in his first 6 months cannot be overstated. Arriving after years of success and experience as Mercedes' chief strategist, the highly astute 44-year-old was ready to step out of Toto Wolff's shadow. Tasked with rebuilding a team whose level and morale were at rock bottom. The years of title triumphs under Sir Frank Williams in the 1990s a very distant memory now. Vowles was under no illusions as to the scale of the challenge. The main thing is this: what I want to see is positive progress, and it won't be weeks or months, it'll be more than that. It's on a year's timescale, Vowles said back in March. There are no short-term solutions, everything is long-term. If the current improvements aren't a solution, then what are they? A band-aid over bigger problems? If that's the case, then they're the best band-aid I've ever seen. The team is on a very clear upward trajectory, and considering the hardship they've gone through in the past decade, that's something we can all be happy about. There are still issues to solve though, the most pertinent being their second seat, currently occupied by Logan Sargeant. Albon's growing points tally is in stark contrast to the American rookie, languishing at the bottom of the standings, though importantly not in the category of 20-plus position in a 20-car championship. That is an unenviable position still held by Ricciardo and De Vries. Pointless after 16 races, another glimpse of a top 10 finish went astray for Sargeant at Monza. It isn't just his point scoring that is a problem though, he's developed the same bad habit that Mick Schumacher never managed to break out of. The habit of binning a multi-million-pound car into the barrier on a regular basis. Following his 2 crashes at the Japanese Grand Prix, Logan Sargeant has now cost Williams an estimated £3.2 million, which is $3.9 million in crash damage this season. This adds up to over 3 times his believed salary. This figure stands as the most of any F1 driver this season, and over £1 million more than Stroll, whose $2.13 million worth of damage was inflated by his terrifying crash at the final corner of the Marina Bay Street Circuit 2 weeks ago. Sargeant's crashes are also threatening to set Williams back in their development for 2024, with team principal James Vowles telling Sky Sports, "We've had more attrition than was expected, it's fair to say. We have enough to deal with this accident today, but it will mean we'll have to divert our attention away from other items while producing more spare parts before we get to the end of the year." That is a problem for any team. In the cost cap era, crashes aren't free anymore. They directly detract from the amount of money you can spend on upgrading and developing your car. This, along with his poor performances, have led to plenty of questions about him being replaced next year. The consensus seems to be that if he doesn't make the cut for 2024, then one of 3 drivers will take his place. Felippe Drugovich is option number 1. Although Drugovich won the 2022 Formula 2 Championship, beating Theo Pourchaire and Liam Lawson with Sargeant only P4 in the standings, he had to settle for a reserve driver role while Sargeant was promoted by Williams. Felippe Drugovich is a very well thought of driver across the grid, and by all accounts, he's done well at Aston Martin as their reserve driver. Option number 2 is Liam Lawson. He's been incredibly impressive during his short stint as Daniel Ricciardo's replacement, and so far appears to be worthy of a place on an F1 team. While plenty of people have been saying he should go to Williams for a year, Red Bull boss Christian Horner has said that Williams won't want him for only 1 year, which is all that Red Bull are willing to give. Liam himself has said that he will stay as Red Bull reserve driver. The contract he signed recently is believed to include the guarantee of a seat at one of the Red Bull teams in 2025, and a year of simulator work won't do him any harm. Option number 3 is Mick Schumacher, a driver we've spoken about often. Ralf Schumacher has been giving his usual spiel about his nephew to anyone who will listen, saying he deserves a chance. Toto Wolff has been doing the same thing since Mick joined as a reserve driver for Mercedes. The problem is that Mick's crash record is appallingly bad, and his results weren't enough to offset the millions of pounds he cost Haas in repairs. Mick is apparently in the process of signing for Alpine's WEC team for next season anyway, something that Nico Hülkenberg has warned him against. It's an alternative, but there is no replacement for F1. WEC is a great series, but of course, it is one step behind Formula 1 in terms of importance, said the Haas driver. It seems, having considered the 3 options, that Williams either have to stick with Sargeant or twist for Drugovich. For now, according to James Vowles, Liam's future is still very much in his own hands. Logan has very clear targets that he has to hit before the end of the season, and we're working with him continuously, said Vowles. That's the important point, we're working with him. We want him to succeed, and we want him in the car next year. This is very much on us as well. We have taken someone straight from Formula 2 without any significant testing, put a day and a half in Bahrain in this car, and then wish them well on a season that has been awfully challenging for rookie drivers, full stop. The Williams boss knows there isn't space for any passengers in Formula 1, but has also admitted recently that at times, Logan Sargeant has been working with old parts, not the upgrades that Alex Albon has received. It's hard to compare results and lap times when the drivers aren't driving the same car. Vowles made it clear that having brought Sargeant on, Williams was willing to invest more in him and was far from giving up. We will continue to work with Logan and invest in Logan, as we want him to succeed, he said. He's on a journey with us as Williams. We have a young driver program that we will continue to invest in. Only at the point where all of us come to the conclusion that we've reached the end of that road will we make any decisions. But we're nowhere near that yet. Williams are on an upward trajectory, and with Alex Albon and James Vowles leading the team, that will continue. If Logan Sargeant can just hold on to the rear wing of Alex, then he has a future in the sport, even if it is just for another season. If he can't though, then Williams are leaving their options open. Logan does not have a contract for 2024, and until he does, his seat is at risk. Do you think Logan will make the cut for next season, or will Williams replace him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.